Hello again. Welcome. And thank you for enjoying this wonderful meal. Again, for those who weren't here earlier when I introduced myself, I'm Carl Etnier. I serve the co-op as president of the council. And this is a dinner and discussion that the council traditionally holds once a year. And we're so glad to have so many people here. I'd like to hear from the other council members who are here, and just stand up and quickly introduce yourself, please.
Hi, I'm Giles Roulet, and it's my first year on the council, and I'm also a staff member.
Hi. Wait, clap. He got me started when I started just right around Christmas time. And I will say I'm a temporary. I'm filling a slot that needs to be filled badly. And so if you have any, it's a fabulous board, and I highly recommend that anybody here interested in food and other issues related to food access.
Nona, tell me your name.
Nona Ekstrom.
There, I see Stephen.
Stephen Farnham, how you doing?
T.
Hey, I'm T. Graham.
Jeff? You'll introduce yourself in a minute? Okay, this is Jeff, Vice President of the Council. And I want to thank the food service so much for this wonderful food they've prepared for us. And also thank our community relations folks over there who helped move us from a hot, stuffy room in the chapel to this much more comfortable room and planned all the logistics. Thank you. Yes.
We're so flexible with us and providing an alternate space on short notice.
And they are also a co-op.
Yeah, that's right. So,
And then Mary Mullally for holding everything together at the co-op, and our general manager. We have some special guests also from the Plainfield Co-op, which has common roots with us, recently reimagined themselves to be a place that's not in the village of Plainfield anymore, but on Route 2, owning not only a food store, but a hardware store. And we have Janine DeWalt and Rose Paul, the general manager and president of the board here. And for those who weren't here earlier, the logistics are you go down the stairs and to the left or the right are the restrooms. Emergency exits are that way as well as here. Anything else that I'm missing before I turn it over to Jeff? I don't think so. Enjoy. Jeff is chairing our vision committee. This is unusually for our dinner and discussion. We're kicking off our 5-year vision plan. Jeff is chairing the committee. Take it away, Jeff.
Thank you, Carl, and thank you all for coming. 2012 is when the last time that the council really worked with all of you to create a vision. The vision is now, 13 years old? We need to get away from that number. I don't like the word 13 at this point. I want to thank you all for coming. It's really your ideas that will help to drive the committee. Giles and T and I are the 3 representatives on the council, but we have some other people as well. Rita Ricketson, Paul Olson. I better make sure I have these names all correct. Paul Olson, some of you know. Jacob, who is there. There he is. Thank you for coming, Jacob. And Teresa Murray, who is unfortunately not here. She's on vacation. We put together this group with 4 people who were very committed to contributing to what we're doing. What I also want to point out tonight is that in addition to the council members who are here, we also have Eva Sheckman, who's our past president, and Laura Jonas, who was on our board, and equally, if not more important now, we have two people who are running for the council this year. In the back is Mark Stelzer,
All
sorry.
right, Jeff, I don't think the mic's working.
It's not.
Yes, I think it went back.
It went off again. Yeah, for some reason not neat.
No,
Can you all hear me
no,
without?
We can't hear you.
Yes. People are not hearing.
That's because I didn't realize it wasn't working.
Hello? Oh, there, all right, there you go. All right.
Okay, somebody in the back yell, I can't hear you, the phone's, it's not working anymore, and I will put this down and I can project in this room. So, Mark, who's going to be running for the council this year, and Greg Gardell, who's at this table over here. Some of you know Greg's work in the community. We are looking forward to having them join us on the council. Your job is to help us. All of you. How many of you have been a member of this co-op? I've been a member now for 30 years. That is, to me, that's inspiring. Many of you who have come since the 1995, we're looking for your input. What do you know? What can you help us bring to the table? What are the critical issues that are important to all of you? As you know, we had a flood. We were awfully lucky at the co-op. So how does climate change, which is one of the issues that's on your table, how does climate change? How do we deal with this as a co-op? What about affordability for products? We're still trying to...
Mic's off again.
We are still...
We need a mic.
It doesn't work. It just went off. Can you hear me back there, T?
Yes.
Cannot? Okay. If I stand in the middle, then I won't see everybody. All right, I will turn it. So, anyhow. Okay. Hello. It's feeding back into the one you just.
Is the other one turned off?
Yes.
So it's feeding back into these speakers.
Back behind the speaker.
You know, if there's one thing about the co-op, it's our technological skills sometimes need some improving. This is one of them, and I'm not blaming anyone. This is not the first time that we have had this occur.
Move behind the speakers, you won't get as much feedback. Tie it down.
I'll make you a bet.
Try outside the building.
That's a great idea. Let's see. At the moment, it's fine. All right. That way, now I can't see the signs here, which I wanted to point out. We are going
I
to.
think you're free to walk around now. I've turned down the master volume.
Oh, if it doesn't work, complain to him. Okay, over here, business diversification. Carl was pointing out what they've done in Plainfield. They're not the only co-op in our region that has more than a business than just a food store. Product affordability strategies, critically important as we go forward. And a lot of it, sadly, between climate and Washington, is totally out of our control. So the questions become, how do we address this as a co-op, as a community going forward? There's several tables with the word other, because many of you identified things that we didn't have enough information to create a separate table. Product affordability. Strengthen local food systems, which is one of the reasons why I joined the co-op to begin with. And I wanted to see us sourcing more and more local food. What's that one say over there? Same thing. And back here is responding to climate change. I don't need to remind any of us the world that we live in around climate. Respond to climate change, strengthen local food systems. This is an ongoing and important concern that all of us have. Now, what we would like you to do, there's paper in front of you. If you'd like to move to another table, one of the subjects that maybe we just mentioned, and join in, please do that. Now, there are pads on every table. If one of you is willing to take notes, just to take notes, we're not going to gather. What we're going to do at the end is we're going to gather all of the notes that have been made from every table. And then what the committee's job will be is to go through what kind of ideas popped up. How were people really enthused about, hey, have you thought about doing this? Those sorts of things are what we want to hear. And we're going to be creating essentially a review. This is not the first time we will ask you for input. Many of you I know read Carl and Mary's weekly emails. You will see places where we're going to ask, hey, something just happened. I don't want to point to Texas as our headache, but that's an example of how geography and rain can create a terrible, terrible mishap, let alone what happened. Our farmers have to respond to some of that. We lost farms last year. So this is a critical issue. How do we as a food co-op deal with these things? We have close to 200 employees. We're over a $30 million a year operation. We are the fourth largest employer in central Vermont. How do we strengthen all of those things without going crazy? So, please, I've mentioned where these different topics are going to be focused. What we'd like you to do is to grab one that you feel is important. The tables that are marked other, that's to show that based upon your table, hey, what the community relations group did when you signed up was to take all of the input from you and define what were the most important ones based upon that input. Clearly, things are missing. So what we want to do is to make sure that all of these ideas are addressed as we go forward. Any questions? Because now it's really up to you. If you know a place you want to participate, please do that. There are notepads on each table. One of you, please volunteer. Just do us all a favor, write legibly. Okay, pass it on to T. He's on the committee. Important. Questions beyond that one about
What's going to happen
next?
Conversation at the table.
Well, and at the end, we will be asking for some brief comments from from each of your tables about what you saw as most important. Anything else? I'm going to be moving around, so if you've got questions, please ask as I show up. Anything else? Eva.
Without having to go to all the tables, how do we know what is
Okay.
on the tables?
Product affordability, this is another product affordability. There are two tables. There are two tables with climate. Strengthening food systems, there's one.
Business diversification.
Diversification up here. So take a couple minutes. If you're not sure, sit down at a place and offer your opinions, your ideas. Thank you.
the tricky thing, right? This is where everything smooshes into each other. Is how do you respond? So it's just this thing about, keeping pricing affordable and prioritizing the which are really two different things, right? Pricing is why aligning large
Some of the issues.
You have about 25 to 30 minutes for your sharing ideas. Hello. I need to interrupt for just a second, please. We're going to give you about 8 minutes to wrap up. Now, wrap up means, as a team, which of the things that you've identified rises to the surface. Those of you who are taking notes, please star it or whatever, just to highlight it. We will be collecting all of those papers at the end. One of the reasons why I want to push this a little bit is that there is some severe weather moving in around 7 o'clock. So, your safety is important. So please, over the next few minutes, gather your notes, each of your tables, identify what you think is the most important idea, or rank order them. That's fine too. Thanks. Okay, folks. One of the great things that I'm observing is how enthusiastic and how much noise from your enthusiasm is showing. So, I'm talking to you, Nona. So, we have several tables with the same topic. There are 2 on climate, 2 on affordability, and 2 other. What I'm looking for, and why this is going to be unfortunately tight, is to get you to, at each table, to identify what the group felt was the most important idea that in the climate people, you guys actually get 2 because it's going to be 1 table here and 1 table there. But you're still only going to get 1 choice. So, since I was at this end of the room, I would like to ask, well, let me ask this. Are you all ready to report from your group what would be the number 1 topic? Please if you have not filled out the reviews and your scribe hasn't identified which is most important, please make sure you do that. And I'd like to begin to call on tables. So I'm going to get the one that Carl's talking too much about because he's the president of the council. So we're going to talk about strengthened food systems. Who's the scribe?
Renee's the scribe. She just nominated me to report.
No, that's,
We had some great ideas. We had a lot of great ideas, and they all linked to each other. But in talking about strengthening local food systems, the Vermont Sustainable Jobs Fund spent years engaging with the community and programs to develop the Roadmap to Food Security 2035. And so the idea is for the co-op to reach out to them to get guidance and to network with groups that are already doing this work to help inform what the co-op can do to support it.
thank you. That's a great idea, having done work with Sustainable Jobs Food and their food work. This is a terrific idea. So that was, oops. I hope I didn't break that. Strengthen, the other strengthen.
Oh, I killed this mic.
Oh, it killed. Now is it working? Yes, it is. Okay. Product affordability. Who's your scribe? Mary?
Yes.
Okay, Mary, you're on.
Well, I don't know that we chose one. Microphone.
Thank you. I don't know.
Okay.
Try it, it's not shutting off.
Thank you. Okay, we definitely weren't able to choose one, but I'll highlight a couple here. But okay, product affordability strategies, buying in bulk being one of them.
Microphone to your mouth, please.
It's off. It's dead.
Okay, sorry.
Considering a different product mix, so, conventional and natural foods. And what else? One more? Go. Oh, store needs to be bigger. Store needs to be bigger. Yes.
Thank you.
Do you have one that works?
I don't know.
Is there any tech in the room that can help with the microphones?
Not now, please.
Well, I mean, you're asking people to speak, right? So.
They're going to have to speak up in the chat. I'm sorry. Okay. Carl, who's your scribe?
Renee's already
Renee.
on.
Okay. We've got two mics that are no longer functioning.
What about the wired mic up front? Does that work?
That doesn't work either.
Last minute.
Okay. Where are our climate guys? See? A little bit of rain on it, a little bit of rain on it, and it went off.
If you do, turn us.
Yes, I went to video.
Hello. All right, this is working right now. Yeah, well, it's working right now. I can report on our table since I have a working mic. So we were talking about citywide emergency response, and there were two things that really felt like the co-op could do ways that we could participate in a bigger way. One is through communications, to be a communications hub. We have a huge email list, and we are set up to communicate quickly if we have to. So that is one way that we could plug into the larger community. And then we also, during the flood last time, we did a lot of connecting of like food donations to the people who need it. So sort of being a liaison between distributors and vendors and the food hub or the resiliency committee or the food banks or other organizations who could use the food. So we're well positioned to liaison between a bunch of different groups with product donations in particular. So
Thank you. All I'm doing is holding it and it goes off. Is it? Okay. I'm going down to the end table here. You guys are on. Are you reporting, Greta?
I guess so. Okay. Is that working? All right. We started out with a question. Is our goal to find new revenue sources, or is it to find new ways to serve the community? And so our discussion followed those two paths. I would say that the main idea for increasing revenue might be to make better use of the cafe and deli area, improve traffic flow, make it more welcoming, get more takeout options, etc. And we went crazy talking about community service, so lots of things that we know. And we had the idea of doing a community needs assessment, talking to not just members, but also the wider community.
Thank you. A really interesting and important group of ideas. Eva, are you reporting or do you want me to move on? Okay.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Excellent. Okay. So, trying to put this in a nutshell, expanding options that include buying local and seasonally whenever possible. Planning around specials such as the $5 off, $25 or more in a particular, like cheese, for instance, to make purchases more affordable. And just to note that $5 off, $25 is a substantial special versus 10 cents off something at one of the competitors. And narratives around affordable shopping, so that to get the word out, that stories have legs, and if it's a good story, it travels, and people will be like, oh, I went there and I spent X, and I took this much home with me, and it was amazing, and I do that every week, that kind of story. And last but not least, more outreach about discounted benefits, so that the systems that are already in place to make it affordable are better known in the community. Did I cover everything that needed to be covered? Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. I'm going to move to the back. There are two groups back here dealing with climate.
Thank you. Thank you. You also hear me.
Who's going to T, are you going to report?
Sure. All right.
Mike's not on.
Hold it close.
You have to put it right to your mouth.
It was on.
Is that working? Okay. So we kind of narrowed down to 6 things that I can cover quickly, and that there's little subheaders. So make local foods affordable is one thing for dealing with climate change. Using extra space for things like rain gardens or flood mitigation. Expand upon efficiency efforts that are already underway. Mitigate packaging and plastics crisis. Satellite locations to potentially reduce commutes. And incentivizing reductions in car use and expanding upon that. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, climate folks. We have another climate. You're doing this. You're not a volunteer.
I'm a note taker.
You're a note taker. Go ahead.
So amazingly, we had some crossover with the other team, but we spoke about some other things too. We spoke about what climate change is going to mean to farmers in addition to shoppers. We spoke about carbon footprint and remote locations and possibly food delivery, drones. We're open to ideas at this table. But most of our time and our top ideas surrounded having an up-to-date disaster plan, which we do have, and also a recovery plan, and just really thinking about.
Can you
hear me now?
Just have to book. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. This is not working.
The mic's off.
Yeah. Mic's off. Okay. So disaster plan, recovery plan, keep them both up to date. How do we respond to flood? How do we respond to heat? And maybe a decade or two, how do we respond to migration? People coming. That's it. That's all I get. Yep. Okay.
Thank you so much.
I'm the last one standing. I have one more. So I'm giving this report. Now they're trying. First they were talking about bringing back the book exchange and clothing exchange. That would bring more people to the area. And I said the layout of the co-op is confusing. If they would label what's on the aisles, so people won't be going around in circles. And bring back the truckload sale. Also, we had a big discussion on reducing the plastic takeaway. They're only single use, and if we can find a substitute like those boxes or the cups that they use for soups, to the takeaway, more of those always hang out. And they want to know why are we having trouble keeping employees? That's not my department.
Yeah. Sounds great.
Yeah, super. Do you offer too many part-time jobs with that? Also, getting a bigger footprint, another way doing more for the space that we have.
Will the sheets that you're filling out, please, all of those on your way out of here, hand to one of the representatives from Carl.
This is the table.
Carl.
Yeah, I'm collecting sheets.
No, but they
Yes.
still have to speak.
Go ahead, we'll listen.
I think, yes, it is working, Nancy.
So our table of 5 winnowed down our diverse topics to 2. One is that we'd like to see less non-recyclable plastic used in the co-op for containers and other things. In central Vermont, 1s, 2s, and 5s are recyclable. 4s, 7s, 9s, other numbers are not. So if you take those things and toss them in your bin, you're just contaminating your recycling. It's 1s, 2s, and 5s that are accepted by Central Vermont Solid Waste. The other thing is we would like to see employees not wear clothing with political messages of any kind, and that does not include wearing union shirts.
Thank you all for your help. The scribes, on your way out, please hand these to someone from the community relations group. Those of us who are part of the next step, Giles, T, myself, Carl and Mary, we are all going to be looking for more input from all of you over many months. This is not something that we're waving magic wands. We'll have a plan or a series of ideas for you to respond to. That's the other side of this, is to get your feedback. And your feedback from tonight, what you heard from other people in the community. You've got email addresses. Please feel free to get in touch. Whether it's from Mary or community relations, let us know what's on your mind. This is part of the process. We need to engage all of you. 9 of us on the council are not enough, so we want your help. Thank you all. I want to thank Mary, community relations, Vince when he was here with the food. It was a really great evening despite threatening weather, and I want you all to get home safe. Thank you.